What's up? Today is March 2nd, 2016, and this is your boy KC coming at you live with episode 18 of my podcast show. So let's get this started. You know what grinds my gears?
What?
People who thought it was cool to come out of the house with multicolored hair. And I'm not talking about two colors. I'm talking about a damn rainbow on top of their heads. Looking like a bag of Starburst, looking like a bag of Skittles. And it just looks, on dudes, it looks fruity as hell. Y'all need to cut that shit out, cause there's nothing manly about having all them damn colors on your head. You look fruity. But I'm talking specifically to ladies, specifically the ghetto females out there who think they look good no matter what. You cannot come out the house with an afro puff on the right side of your head that's aqua blue and a weave on the left side of your head that's red, a piece of yellow hair on the top of your head looking like a damn unicorn, and an orange ponytail. That shit does not look good. I don't know who told you that looked good, but they must have been high as hell when they told you that. You look retarded as hell like a damn clown. And that's what grinds my gears. Raw last week was a very interesting show. We saw the return of Shane McMahon. Damn, it's been a long time since I've seen that guy. Shane was one of the McMahons, the other one being Vince, that I really enjoyed watching over the years. Now, what can I say about Vince? He's an asshole in real life. But he was one of the best heels on TV during the Attitude Era, and that's why I enjoyed watching him. But Shane, he would go out there, and he wasn't even a professional wrestler, but he would go out there and do some real crazy shit, putting his body on the line for matches, and matches against Kurt Angle and Test and Steve Blackman and Big Show. This guy is crazy, and I enjoyed watching his matches, even though I knew in my mind he was not a professional wrestler. He's better than Vince, but he's not a professional wrestler. So it was nice to see him come back in a segment with Vince and Stephanie. They were giving out an award of Vince McMahon's father. It's named after Vince McMahon's dad for some reason, Vincent J. McMahon. And Stephanie felt that she deserved to get it. I don't know why. But here comes Shane. He's like, if anybody deserves it, it's me. And Vince McMahon goes to rip his son to shreds. And on top of that, he said, you're going to have to wrestle at WrestleMania against The Undertaker. And if that's not bad enough, it's going to be Hell in a Cell. And that's crazy, man. I don't know if that match is really going to happen, but if it does, Undertaker is going to kill Shane McMahon, because I don't see Undertaker laying down for Shane. I don't see Undertaker joining the Authority, because that would be ridiculous. If the Undertaker turned heel and joined with those guys, that would probably kill the product. You would lose a lot more fans that way, because Undertaker is pretty much one of the only guys from that Attitude Era that fans still think fondly of. Undertaker's been around for a long time. We don't need a heel Undertaker with a suit and a tie. It's bad enough that we got that with Kane. We don't need to see Taker doing that, so I don't see them doing something like that. How is this match gonna go? How is Shane gonna get out of this? I don't know how. And you know there's gonna be a ton of interference in this match. You're not just gonna lock Shane in a cage with The Undertaker and not expect there to be some kind of interference. And it's funny because this match actually hooked me into WrestleMania. There's another one too, and I'll name that a little later. But before these two matches, I wasn't going to watch WrestleMania at all. I was like, the hell with it. There was nothing that interests me about this show. So let's see what happens. Neville and the Lucha Dragons versus the New Day. The New Day wins, of course. You know, I really can't even complain, because at least they're giving Neville some TV time. And this guy has been destroyed. What did they do to this guy? I mean, he's a former NXT champion. The guy can wrestle his ass off. He's got moves that are amazing, and they do nothing with them, probably because of his size. Because we all know how Vince McMahon is. He drools all over himself with these big, muscular, tall dudes. And he thinks that they can be the next Cena or the next Hulk Hogan or some shit like that. And I'm just sick and tired of seeing NXT dudes that were built up strong go down to the main roster and get destroyed. You look at Bo Dallas, you look at Neville, you look at Tyler Breeze, the Ascension. I mean, they suck anyways. But still, they were the best tag team on NXT because they were built up that way, even though they really wasn't the best team on there. And they go up there to get destroyed. And if this is what they're going to keep doing, then I'm afraid for girls like Bayley and Asuka when she comes up. What do you think they're going to do with Cass and Enzo? They're going to have them doing a bunch of comedy skits. I can see it now. I'd rather them keep them down on NXT if they're just gonna come up there and make fools out of these wrestlers. It's just sickening. Ambrose earlier in the day got attacked by Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar is a monster, isn't he? I mean, seriously, he sent them to the hospital in an ambulance. So later on in the night, Ambrose comes back, he hijacked the ambulance for some reason. He got out of there with a neck brace on and proceeded to crawl to the ring like a dog dragging his ass across the carpet. I don't know how this makes him look tough. It makes him look weak, to me at least. And Brock proceeds to step over him like he's nothing but garbage. If you guys get that reference, you know what I'm talking about if you're a macho maniac. But Ambrose says, I'm going to challenge you to a no-holds-barred match at WrestleMania. That's the other match that's got me hooked, because I want to see this match. And Brock, he pounces on this dude like a cheetah on a leopard and F5s him on the concrete floor, in which Dean Ambrose proceeds to smile. And this guy is a crazy son of a bitch, isn't he? Because if Brock picked my big ass up and F5 me on the concrete, the last thing I'm going to be doing is smiling. Next, we had the Usos in a match against a couple of jobbers. You might as well call these guys that, because what the hell are they? They're in a match, the Dudleys come out and they proceed to remind everybody that they are not one-trick ponies, that they are not a nostalgia act. They are the most decorated tag team in WWE history, in which Devon proceeds to cut one of the best promos that he ever had in his entire career. And he was actually funny when he said that the Usos' father, that being Rikishi, is a one-trick pony. He said instead of being out there buying thongs, he should have taught the Usos about respect. That was the best thing that I heard all night. I mean, seriously, I loved Rikishi. I liked watching Rikishi and Too Cool back in the day. But at least Devon is kind of right, though, man. I mean, because Rikishi's famous for wearing thongs and dancing, not for his wrestling skills. Because if he was famous for his wrestling skills, they would have been talking about that when they put him in the Hall of Fame, don't you think? Back when he was Junior Fatu and Head Shrinker Fatu and the Sultan. I mean, we will not talk about the Sultan, but you know what I mean. Up next, we had a tag team match with Chris Jericho and AJ Styles versus Heath Slater and Mr. Imperfect, Curtis Axel. Jericho wins with the Walls of Jericho on Curtis Axel, so the match was won by submission, making it a huge squash. What else can you say? This is not going to be a permanent tag team between these two guys, because people who know Chris Jericho know that Chris Jericho is going to turn on AJ sometime in the future before WrestleMania. He's going to turn on him because that's what Jericho does. He earns people's trust and then he stabs them in the back. That's what his character is about. So relax, people. This is going to be great. Up next, we have Kane and the Big Show with Ryberg as their partner against the Wyatt family. The Wyatt family wins the match because Ryberg decides to leave his partners hanging. Now, I don't know if this is a heel turn, but if this is a heel turn, in a perfect world, I would think they would be turning him heel in case if Goldberg comes back, then you have a babyface versus heel. But this is WWE we're talking about. They do things that make absolutely no sense 95% of the time. So I lost faith in them. Up next, we have Sasha Banks versus Naomi with the incredibly lovely ass, with Tamina in her corner. Sasha Banks wins by submission with the bank statement. Pretty good match. I mean, they really didn't give him much time, but it was pretty good. The main event was Roman Reigns versus Sheamus. They fought to a no contest when Triple H, the game, comes down, and they proceed to brawl. Him and Reigns proceed to beat the hell out of each other all over the arena, and Triple H solidifies himself as the top babyface in the company now because he bashed Reigns' face in with the ring bell, bashed his face into the table, pedigreed him on the steps, mocked him, and did a crotch chop just for the icing on the cake. So Triple H is a babyface because there is no way that they can rehab Reigns after this segment. It just makes things a lot worse, and this guy needs all the help he can get. And the fact that the fans were cheering for Triple H when he was beating the hell out of this guy, that's not good. That is not good. And it makes Reigns John Cena. That's pretty much what he is. He is a John Cena clone now. He's getting the boos all over the place. It's not good. And it's not fair to this guy that they're trying to make him follow John Cena's footsteps. They need to do something to fix this guy. They need to do something about it. Because That segment did not help him at all. I have a few TNA notes here. It looks like TNA might be up for sale. It might be up for sale. Who knows what really goes on in that company, but I read that they're looking for outside investors to come into the company. Now, does that mean that somebody could buy the company and change the name and change the outlook and everything about this company to make it better? Maybe. Or maybe they can make it worse. But I don't see anything else for TNA because TNA is so damaged that I don't think anything can repair this company. I've never seen a company this bad since the end of WCW. Back in the day, I don't see TNA ever getting back to the way it used to be. You're going to have to get rid of the Carters. You're going to have to get them out of the picture if you're going to have somebody come in and attempt to make this company good. And I don't see Vince McMahon wanting to buy this company. Why should he buy it? Other than the tape library, maybe for Hall of Fame introductions, I don't think Vince McMahon would even be interested in anybody from TNA. Unless it's old WWE guys, maybe like Jeff Hardy. I could see them getting Jeff Hardy back. Maybe Bobby Lashley. Who knows? You know, but I don't see Vince McMahon wanting to shell out the money to buy a damaged company like that. You know, so I see that floating around here. Oh, maybe Shane can buy it. Do you really want another invasion angle? Come on, man. They fucked up the first invasion angle. I don't want to see an invasion of TNA guys led by Shane McMahon against his father and Stephanie. I really don't want to see that. On to the video game portion of my show. It looks like the Resident Evil port train just keeps chugging along because now PlayStation 4 and Xbox One get Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6. And I don't have a problem with that. It just kind of feels like Capcom may be running out of ideas. That's why they keep filling in the gaps with all these ports and stuff until they remake Resident Evil 2 or they make Resident Evil 7 or whatever it is that they plan on doing from this point on. You know, I love Resident Evil 4. It's one of my favorites. I hate 5. 6 is, I could take it or leave it. I beat all them. You know, it's good that the fans of the new console generation get the pleasure of playing the Resident Evil games that we grew up on. My problem with the whole thing is no love for the Vita, no love for the 3DS, no love for the Wii U. How come they don't get ports? This is the kind of thing that pisses me off because it just seems like all these guys want to do is concentrate on a PlayStation 4 and Xbox One like there's no other systems out there. The Vita is a powerful system. It can handle games like that. You know what I'm saying? They always miss their chance to make the Vita relevant again. I love that system. I love the 3DS too. And the 3DS, all they get is a bunch of little kiddie games and you finally get a chance. You already seen Resident Evil Revelations. It looks good on the 3DS. Why couldn't they port some more Resident Evil games to these systems? And the Wii U always gets left out, just like the Wii did. You know, that's why they get stuck with all these Wii Sports and bullshit games that grown-ups do not want to play, man. Grown-ass men like me do not want to play bowling games. We want to play Resident Evil, Metal Gear, games like that. And it just pisses me off how they just completely skip over that. And you wonder why people gave up on the handhelds. And I said it before and I'll say it again. There's a lot of games on the big consoles that I think will work on the handheld consoles. I mean, let's look at it this way. WWE is never going to make a game for the PS Vita or 3DS. Okay, fine. I got bored with those games anyways. But let's take a game like Fire Pro. Remember Fire Pro D for the Dreamcast and Fire Pro Returns for PS2? Hell, even the Game Boy Advance got Fire Pro games. So don't tell me that it didn't work on handhelds because those games are a lot of fun. And I always felt that the Fire Pro series would be best on the go on handhelds. I would love to see those games ported over to the Vita and the 3DS. You know, I would probably never put the thing down. You know what I'm saying? And if you're not going to do that, then at least take the PSP library that you've been neglecting over the years and make some of those HD ports. How about the Phantasy Star Portable series? How about Final Fantasy Tactics, Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker? Games like those, I would like to see not remade, but at least HD ports of those. How about Tomb Raider Legends, Tomb Raider Anniversary for the PlayStation Portable? There's a lot of games that they could be doing, but they just don't want to focus on the Vita. It feels like it's some kind of afterthought. I'm sick of talking about this now because I'm a huge fan of the Vita. I still got it right there. I just picked up the Aqua Blue version back on Black Friday. And I love the system to death, and it's dry. When you look at the games, there's really not that much to play on the system, and it's heartbreaking. And I'm pretty sure that the 3DS fans, yeah, they get Pokemon and all that stuff, but I guarantee they're starting to get tired of seeing the same stretch of games every single month. There's only but so much somebody can play Pokemon before it all starts to look alike. But it is what it is. I want to talk about the Sega Saturn for a second. Why did the Sega Saturn fail? After thinking about everything, because the system was great, the system was just as powerful, if not even more powerful than PlayStation 1, because there's a lot of games, a lot of ports that they had that were graphically better, the music was better. Like, look at a game like Dragon Ball Legends. They both came out for both systems. PlayStation version was good, which is what I have. The Sega Saturn one, the graphics are better and the music sounds a hell of a lot better than it is on the PlayStation. But why did the Saturn fail? You know, the guys over there at Sega put out so much hardware at that time. They just wasn't doing good business then. They had the 32X out there. They had the Sega CD. They had the Sega Nomad. They had all this stuff. They was trying to get the Neptune out there, which that never came to life. Because it was just, they put so much money out there for all this hardware and fans just got desensitized to it. And they're like, we're not going to buy all this stuff. And it just ended up ending bad for Sega. And that really sucks because the Sega Saturn was a great system. And I'm trying to track one down now so that I could play it. And if somebody has it or they get a chance to give it a chance. Because that was a really good system. And I don't think it deserves to be forgotten about the way that it was. Give it a shot. The game of the week is Tomb Raider Legend. What a classic game that is. See, after Tomb Raider Angel of Darkness, that piece of shit game that we got, the TR series needed a reboot. And they went all out with Tomb Raider Legends because everything about this game just hits on the good scale. You talking about amazing graphics, you talking about amazing mechanics, the great storyline that they have. You take control of Lara Croft, of course. Who else would you play? And the goal of this game is to collect pieces so that you can forge the legendary sword Excalibur, which makes you an absolute beast. They give her a lot of weapons in this game to where you could just own enemies. And this ain't that Tomb Raider where you go around shooting animals and stuff. You lay waste to a bunch of enemies in this game. You even get 2 motorcycle stages where you just riding on a motorcycle gunning down people. I'm like, you talking about something different, because as much as I love the Tomb Raider series, going around shooting bats with guns like grenade launchers and stuff really didn't make much sense to me. So Tomb Raider Legends is my favorite game out of the whole entire series, with the reboot of 2013 following in its footsteps. How could you have not played this game? If you are not a Tomb Raider fan, play the game. If you are a Tomb Raider fan, go back and play it. You will love this game as much as I do. Anime otakus, it's that time again. I got a chance to sit down and watch some more Dragon Ball Super from the time that I did have. I caught on to the tournament that they're having, and it's crazy because Goku already lost. And not only did he lose, he lost to a guy that looks exactly like Frieza. I didn't catch the guy's name, but he looks exactly like Frieza or Chilled if you watch the episode of Bardock. And I don't know how to feel about that. Because you know what? After watching GT, after watching all of Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball, it's kind of refreshing to see Goku lose in this tournament, because now we know that somebody else will get the win. Whether it'll be Vegeta, but even that, Vegeta, I don't even want Vegeta to win, because I'm sick of this notion that if you're not a Saiyajin, then you don't matter. I would like to see somebody else step up and win this tournament. Whether it would be Piccolo, I would love Piccolo to get the win, because when was the last time Piccolo did anything of any relevance? I mean, it killed him again for no reason, for God's sake. Gohan, I don't see Gohan winning it, because I said it before and I'll say it again, Gohan is a punk. The last time I saw him, they drew him, the dude doesn't even have muscles anymore. He looks like a straight up nerd. How do you go from having Hulk Hogan muscles to a freaking Steve Urkel lookalike? Seriously, it's like somebody let the air out of the boy. If they give Gohan the win, I don't even know how I would feel about that, because I don't think Gohan deserves to win anything. What has he done? He's done absolutely nothing after the Boo saga. And I'm tired of going over this. But Goku did lose. I don't know where they go from here. I mean, it's just funny that it's someone from Frieza's race that beat Goku. I have to laugh at that considering they just killed Frieza. They killed him in the Fukkatsu no F saga or the movie. And for somebody that looks like Chilled to come and just beat Goku. Wow. It's almost as bad as when he got beat by that little nerdy kid in GT. Remember that? When he just tickled Goku and Goku fell out of the ring? What the hell were these guys thinking doing that? They made Goku look like the biggest pussy on the planet. Excuse my language. When you have a nerdy kid in wrestling attire beat the strongest fighter in the Dragon Ball Z universe by tickling him, and you think that that's supposed to be funny. I didn't think that was funny at all. You know, you go from winning a tournament to almost winning when you fought against Tien Shinhan. You went through the classic fights with Piccolo and Master Roshi and all that stuff to end up losing by being tickled to death. Wow. I'm trying to hold on to this Dragon Ball Super series as hard as I can. I'm not even going to lie to you guys. Like I said last week, it's getting difficult, more and more difficult for me to keep wanting to watch this because I don't see anything that keeps me in the series. Yes, I saw the Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan, or whatever the hell you want to call it. And I might not be the only Dragon Ball fan out there that feels this way, but I am tired of seeing all these transformations already. How many transformations can a Saiyan have? Seriously, we done seen 1, 2, 3, 4 Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan. Who came up with that term? Let's just call it Super Saiyan God 2. You know, I don't want to see any more transformations. I'm tired of it now. I don't want to see a Super Saiyan God 3 with long blue hair. I don't want to see none of that. I don't want to see any fusion Super Saiyan Gods. This is it. Let this be the last transformation. That's it. I'm tired of the fights going great and Goku getting his ass whooped and then all of a sudden here's a new transformation and you kick somebody's ass. I love this series to death, but how many times can you keep pulling the same rabbit out of the hat? If you're going to do new transformations, how about a new Namek transformation? How about that? How about you give Piccolo a new transformation that makes him much, much stronger? How about a new fusion technique with a Namek? Let's call it Super Namek 2. Cause you got all them Nameks on new Namek, and you mean to tell me none of them developed a new form yet? Seriously. Are they gonna introduce Oob into the series? Because Oob went to train with Goku and nobody even knows what the hell happened after that. I mean, GT brought him along. He ended up becoming a weakling and they made a fool out of him. Wasted potential. They could have really did something there. Let me run something by you guys. How cool would it be to take the greatest martial artist ever put on this planet, Bruce Lee, and you take one of his movies, say Enter the Dragon, or Way of the Dragon, or The Big Boss, or Fist of Fury, and you make them into anime adaptations? Can you imagine Fist of Fury as an anime series? The way that movie was, even though the camera effects were pretty good for an old movie like that. Yo, if they made an anime like that, hell, I sure as hell will watch it. If you could take maybe the people that made the Cowboy Bebop series or the Samurai Champloo series, and you give them something about Bruce Lee, the way the anime is, where there are no limits, it would be amazing to see what they can do. That's the idea for you guys. The anime of the week is an anime from 1972 over there in Japan and 1985 over here in the US. It's an anime that's not talked about very much and I don't understand why, because I thought it was great. Over there, he's called Mazinger Z. Over here, it's Transor Z. This is the very first anime that I've ever watched, believe it or not. This introduced me into that world of Japanese anime, and I love the cartoon for that. Long before there was Gundams, long before there was Voltron and Big O, there was Transor Z. And even though Gigantor started the whole mecha anime craze, Transor Z is where it's at. This robot was awesome. He had everything. He had rocket punches. He had a laser in his chest that melts anything in his path. He had eye lasers. He could create tornadoes with his mouth. He could fly with a rocket that attaches to his waist. Of course, because they're two different dubs, there are a lot of differences, especially with the names. The main character over there in Japan, his name is Koji Kabuto. Over here, his name is Tommy Davis. The main villain's name is Dr. Hell over there, and it's Dr. Demon here. But I'm going to go by the names that I know because that's the anime that I watched growing up. So Tranzor Z is about Tommy Davis, who gets control of Tranzor Z to stop evil robots created by Dr. Demon. A very simplistic storyline. And it's not just Tommy with robots. You have his friends like the Bobo Bot, which is funny as hell to this day. I know it's cheesy, but the Bobo Bot is probably the most doofy looking robot ever created. I mean, it looks like a straight dumbass. The attacks are stupid, but it is funny to watch. It's comic relief. But like every other anime, you have a female protagonist, which is cool. But Aphrodite A is the character in the series, like Krillin from Dragon Ball Z and Chaozu, that always gets her ass handed to her in every single episode, to the point to where you feel her existence is pretty much useless. It gets tiring watching her take her crappy robot with boob missiles. Boob missiles! That's freaking crazy, and it's so crazy it's awesome. She has missiles that come out of her boobs. That's crazy. But even with that, she always gets her ass whooped and Tommy always has to save her. It wouldn't be an anime without that, don't you think? Check this anime out. Go back in the archives and watch it. It's just as classic today as it was then. And that's it for episode 18 of my podcast show. Check out my YouTube channel, KC The Most, where I got a shitload of content that everybody can watch. Whether it's Let's Plays, whether it's about music, whether it's about wrestling, whether it's about anime, whether it's about video games, you can find something for everybody. Check out my Facebook page. Give me a like. My page could use it. Subscribe, like, and comment. I'll check y'all out later. Peace.